Hello everybody and welcome to another custom player card expansion showcase video. Today, we're looking at the Investigator expansion for Lovecrafter 3077. This is a cyberpunk themed custom player card expansion by RudeRugg. That's what I found for the Reddit username for the person who shared this. There is, I know, also a campaign expansion that's being in the process, a work in progress for this. But I won't check that out until it's done, and also kind of, test it a little bit. Because I don't want to get mad and yell at custom content, because it makes me very sad when I do that in retrospect. But player card expansions are always a good time. So I always love checking out player card expansions. So we have 5 investigators and a bunch of player cards to dive into. So let's do everybody's favorite thing, which is read cards and then react to those cards. We drop our Pogs in chat, we drop our Sages in chat, we drop our, Pepe Drivings in chat. All those things is what we're going to be doing today. Dom Dark Data, 4341, 59 for stats, a veteran, blessed, and cursed. As a reaction, when you reveal a bless or curse token, you may seal that token on a card in your play area with another token sealed on it. If you do, reveal a different token sealed on that card instead. So when you reveal a bless or curse token, you may seal that token on a card in your play area with another token sealed on it. If you do, reveal a different token sealed on the card instead. Interesting. So the card doesn't need to have seal on it to do this. This is something that you could with, well, let's look at the deck building. Let's go there before we go further. All right. Deck size 35. Interesting. These all have a 35 deck size, which does make sense when you look at the deck building options. Guardian card 04, Mystic 03, Neutral 05. Okay, so we get a good chunk. We go outside of just Mystic Splash. We are Mystic, like, half main, or we like to call the Mystic Survivor level. So, like, we have the 03, which is where the majority of the Survivor cards live. But we don't get the level 5 Guardian cards. And I'm going to assume that every class is the same sort of thing here. Okay, cool. So, Guardian 04, Mystic 03. Interesting. Okay, let's go back to this. Elder Sign effect is +2, add 1 bless and 1 curse to the token bank, +2. Sweet. That's cool, very basic. I imagine we're gonna see a lot of this. Like, this guy's gonna probably work well with a lot of the Hemlock Vale cards, especially considering the investigator, the purple investigator who is coming with that box. So that's kind of cool. Let's check out the signatures. The Giga Gun. Yeah, we love Giga Gun. 3 cost, takes up the hand slot. Dom Dark Data deck only. Seal a bless or a curse. Uses 4 charges. As an action, spend 1 charge, fight. You get +1 for this attack. If this attack is successful and a curse token is sealed on this card, deal 1 damage to each enemy at this location. If a bless token is sealed on this card, heal 1 damage. That's really cool. So you get +1 fist for this attack. For this one. Tangerine, thank you so much for the follow on the goddamn table. So 1 charge, fight, you get +1 for this, +1 fist for this attack. Successful. Really interesting. So, like, the curse is nice, because you deal 1 damage each enemy at this location, so it deals the +2 damage. On its own, it just deals 1 damage. And if a blessed token is, you heal 1 damage. That's kind of fun. Notably, though, you also can basically change the form of your Giga Gun with your ability on this card. Very interesting, by the way. I guess it never really hit me, but this guy's like a Sister Mary in terms of stat love, in terms of soak, which is really interesting as well. This is he looks tough. He looks tougher than his health pool seems to imply, because he goes down pretty quick, Yeah, also the 1 agility. He's big, he's slow. Interesting. It's a neat character. I don't have any ideas for what to do with him yet, though. Just a preliminary, but I think the concept is interesting. Especially if you use the sealed cards. Like, can you imagine this guy with, like, the madness that is, like, Shards of the Void? You know? Like, you lock curse tokens on your Shards of the Void and use the zeros on the Shards of the Void. And then you just, like, somehow turn Shards of the Void into this weird thing that just holds your curse tokens for you. Alright, let's see the signature weakness. Curse of the Cyber Wyvern. Oh, I've had this curse. It's bad. Force, put this card in your threat area. Bless and curse tokens cannot be removed from this card. Whenever you would seal a bless or curse token on a card, seal it on this card instead. If 3 blessing or curse tokens are sealed on this card, discard this weakness and all tokens on it from play. Yeah, it seems pretty standard. Honestly, not that scary of a weakness. But I mean, this guy doesn't read to me as like a crazy powerful investigator, so it does kind of make sense that his weakness would kind of match that. I like it though. Concept's neat. We got some mid-journey hands for sure in here. Alright. Trix Bellix, the Scrapper. 4114. Now that is a stat line that's going to make Seeker haters rise up and say, finally, a Seeker for me. Alright, 4114. She's going to be a Seeker Survivor. I could see that when I immediately saw the first ability. When you successfully investigate a location with 0 shroud, gain an additional clue. Hey, we put an old keyring in your old keyring. When you successfully fight an enemy with 0 fight, deal +1 damage, limit once per round. Very strange. Elder Sign effect +0. If you're performing a skill test against a card with Survey Drone attached, apply -3 to that test difficulty instead of -1. I didn't see nothing. 7/7 for Soak. Alright, so this one is Seeker 04, Survivor 03. So pretty much gets the entire Survivor class. This character is essentially a Survivor. Survey Drone. Permanent. If Survey Drone is in your play area, attach Survey Drone to any real location or non-elite enemy. While Trix is attacking or investigating, attached location gets -1 shroud and attached enemies get -1 fight. Yeah, I mean, yeah. When while attached location has no clues or attached enemy leaves play, returns Survey Drone to... Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty basic. A good tool to help, like, beat the -3 locations. Honestly, I'm worried that this stat line ain't enough. You know? This is a very powerful ability. Like, and I'm talking on just, like, the clue side. Right? Yeah, I also do like how it's set in Arkham City. That's a really... It's like a Arkham Horror, like super clever, you know? Arkham in Wonderland, super clever. Arkham City, also super clever. Just like absolute like mad lad geniuses out there tearing up the custom content world. Alright. So back to this one. Let's see the weakness before I go further. Unruly Drone. Oh, the drone gets pissed. I was going to say flip it. Put a really drone into player, move your survey drone to the location with the most amount of clues or not the end to the most health. It now increases the shroud. Oh, that's fun. That seems kind of fun, you know? It gets, it just gets pissed. Increases the shroud attack value if it returns. I mean, that is, like, definitely gonna slow you down. And I also like it because both of the weaknesses so far ain't just double action player card weaknesses, which is always one of those things that, that's just a little bit like boring to see on a investigator. I think for basic weaknesses, I think a space like that is good to explore, but for investigators, like, you know, like, it's kind of boring, and I like the kind of like side quest that takes the character and turns it on their head. As opposed for talking more about Trix Bellix, it seems like a very powerful investigator, no matter what the stat line tells you. However, if you get like the wrong pieces, you're kind of just like dumb, idiot, no fist, no book investigator, right? Like you have to put a lot of pieces in your deck. This deck does like one thing. Right, it's like this Trix is gonna do one thing, and she's gonna do that one thing really well. But like, I don't think I don't think like I'm not talking about like the player cards we're gonna see, because I like to look at those separately. I like to look at the investigators with the current card pool. Like if there's like can you imagine like you're playing Path to Carcosa and you have like a goon and Trix and you're like everything's going good, and then you draw Spires of Carcosa and you're like, oh, I guess we die, right? Like I do think that Trix is very fragile still, but like when you get it going, it can be very powerful. I think it's a strong investigator, but I do think that Trix can be likely to stumble and stab herself with her own drone. Pops! The discarded android. Cheppy. Alright, 3333. You know, the trait's forgotten, by the way. Custom content makers love making all three survivors. I'll tell you that much right now. You cannot play item assets from your hand. Item assets do not take up inventory slots. What the hell? You cannot play them from your hand? What the hell? When you would discard an item asset from your play, shuffle it into your deck, play an item asset from your discard pile, paying its cost. What the hell? What the hell? Okay, we gotta worry on. We gotta look on this. All right. Action. Play an item from your discard pile. Search the top 5 cards of your deck. Discard up to 5 non-weakness item assets. All right. Interesting. Survivor 04, Guardian 03. The creator's promise. Permanent. As a reaction, shuffle an item you control into your deck. Cancel 1 damage or 1 horror. I think this probably needs like a more, like when you would take damage or horror, shuffle an item you control into your deck, cancel 1 damage or horror. You're more than just metal. I mean, I agree. You are more than just metal. You do hit for 5 and 5. This is really different, isn't it? Organic Thoughts. Put Organic Thoughts, play your threat area. You may now play items. At the end of turn, test any skill 4. If you're successful, discard Organic Thoughts. Okay, that is a spooky weakness because you have to pass a 4 test. However, I imagine you're going to put a lot of item assets into your discard pile by just committing them to tests, right? I think it's a very powerful investigator. You can now play item assets from your hand. Item assets not take up inventory slots. When you would discard an item asset from your play, shuffle it into your deck. Weird. This is really strange. It's one of those things that, like, it's like just one of those things where you like look at this guy and you're like, I feel like this for like Trix, not so much Dom Dark Data, but Trix as well. It's just kind of like, it's like they're designed to break what we know about what Arkham is, right? Like that's kind of like what I feel like it is for these. And I think this is, I mean, like, you get short supply. You get a 10-card opening hand, right? I think that this guy would probably be good with a deck that's, like, just all items, you know? You just play short supply, and you have a 10-card opening hand. You use everything in your hand to commit to a test. You pass those tests. And then you do everything else. Maybe I'm missing something, but how do you get items in your discard pile? By committing them to tests, right? Just like put them with relevant symbols, do the tests, pass those tests because you committed cards. Those cards now go into your discard pile, and then you play them. Cornered as well. Yeah, cornered. Yeah. You get the necklace, the Idol of Xanatos, right? You get the Idol of Xanatos and you just never die. It's very interesting. I think he has a really high ceiling, and I actually can't imagine his floor. I mean, I think his floor is just that he has 3 in his stats, but when you just, like, have 5 cards, and you're like, when you don't care about your draw step, or you just use economy. Interesting. I mean, this is well. I actually don't think I'm gonna just say this. I don't think you need this card. I think you just. I don't think this should be permanent. I think this card can be not permanent. Oh yeah, well prepared with this guy? Oh my god. But I think this could just be in the deck. I think this could just be in the deck, TBH. I don't think you need this in your... And then also when item assets like leave play, they shuffle them into your deck. This guy's really interesting. I don't think this needs to be permanent. Because I mean, like, I don't know. It just feels like it. It just feels like that this can this could live in the deck. Because I mean, like, this is basically like kind of like Idol of Xanatos, but worse. And I think that, I mean, either this needs to get better and not permanent, or like it has to be a different thing but also still be permanent. Because this reminds me of Idol of Xanatos. I don't know. This guy's really intriguing though. I'm kind of like interested to see if I could just efficiency break him, which I think is really cool. Cool card. And he makes me sad because he was discarded, poor guy. But I was programmed to help you, and you throw me in garbage? What the hell? Heidi Hightail. This one looks really cool. I read this. This is the only one I read before. So 2/3. I don't know why. I'm just like big on rogues lately. 2/3/2/5. The Holophant Star. Also a girl boss. Hell yeah, girl. You get it. As a reaction, after you move into a location with a non-elite enemy, evade. If you succeed, instead of evading the enemy, disengage it and move it to a connecting location. Limit once per round. 6/8. Elder Sign effect +1. After the test resolves, you may move up to 3 times. So after you move into a location with a non-elite enemy, evade. If you succeed instead of evading the enemy, disengage it and move to a connecting location. Really cool effect. Rogue Seeker. Wow, I actually was not expecting Seeker on the other side. But it makes sense because like Seeker and Rogue are like the movement classes, you know? Makes sense, right? Interesting. I mean, I like the ability because the ability like... So like... This, Dom Dark Data, Trix, and Pops all kind of put you into a deck that you want to be playing, right? Same with kind of like Bob and Yorick, right? It puts you into the deck you want to be playing. Not so much for Yorick. But Bob, you're like, okay, I need to play item assets. But a deck like, an ability like this is like, hey, do what you will with it. You know, just use it to incrementally gain advantage on the game, right? And I love those kinds of abilities on investigators because it leaves the deck pool completely wide open, right? You like look at it and you're like, I can do so many things with this. I love it. I love this character. Let's see the signatures. How to Hightail. Heidi Hightail deck only. 3 costs. How to Hightail. Heidi Hightail deck only. You love it. As a reaction, after you move a non-elite enemy to a location with another non-elite enemy, deal both of those enemies 1 damage. Whoa! That's cool! That's really cool. So I just push the bad guy into the other bad guy, then run away. I love it. It always tickles me pink when someone explains the flavor of the card in the flavor text. Oh yeah, so that's what it is. I'm just like pushing the guys into each other. We call this the Acolyte Killer, baby. I mean, like, effects like this seem really good in like cultist like things, and also like you know, like this makes me think like, hey, this would be fun to play test in what's it called? Threads of Fate. Yeah, I had to get my synapses going. Cool card. Barefoot. Put this card in play in your thread area after you move. Test foot 3. If you fail, you may not move again the rest of the turn. After moving 3 times in a single turn. Oh. Okay. So after you move, test foot 3. If you fail, you may not move again the rest of your turn. After you move 3 times in your turn, discard Barefoot from your threat area. So it should be in your threat area, so your play area as well. How does that work? I think this is like I think this kind of goes into like the parallel Roland. So move up to 3 times. So you move, you have to test foot 3. If you pass, you get to move again. If you move again, if you pass, you get to move again and you can get rid of this. If you fail, you cannot move again. I think that's a neat one, and I think it goes back to this kind of thing, where it's like the side quest that has to do with your character, basically taking the character and shutting them off. Heidi Hightail, I think, is my favorite so far. Cool card. Sprock Vilewire. Now, that's a name if I've ever heard one. The Dark Market Dealer, 5331. As trader and trader. That's funny. 8/6 Soak. Is a lightning bolt, discard an item asset in your play area with 3 or more doom on it. Gain resources equal to the amount of doom on that card. Okay, so this is like reverse Amina. This is like Amina, but what if it was the other way? And also has a stat line that probably would have benefited Amina a bit more. Only on item assets, so of course you get like, so what do we got here? Mystic and Rogue. I think a problem with these is that, like, a lot of these things you just, like, look at these other classes and you're like, only, like, Rogue doesn't have the Doom synergy, but Rogue has the economy. So, like, my gut actually first tells me this could be a really fun, like, big money deck, you know? But I mean, like, you do big money. You play with the item assets. Like, you play with, like, the fish book, Abyssal Tome. You can play with, like, the Dowsing Rod. You can play with Sickle, even though it's not great. But I do think it goes up in value when you're only using, like, the top action and then also just turning it into economy. Elder Sign effect is +2 add a Doom to an item asset in your play area, or -2 remove Doom from an item asset in your play area. I like the Elder Sign effect. I think the Elder Sign effect is really cool. Alright. A costly thing. 2 cost, takes up the accessory slot. Fast. Sprock Vilewire. That's a great name. As an action, place 1 Doom on this card, then draw a card and gain a resource. When this card is sold with 10 Doom on it using Sprock's ability, you may gain 1 XP instead of 10 resources. That's, like, never gonna trigger. But, that's, like, the best, you know? Like, that's the dreamer text. It's real. I mean, it's just there to, like, me, like, what if? For me, like, that text basically is trinket text. It doesn't count, right? I think it's more there for, like, you know, making someone happy. But I mean, like, okay. I do think you can do it, though. Because it doesn't exhaust. It doesn't exhaust, right? I mean, I think, like, but the thing is, like, so, like, let's say it was 7 Doom, right? Let's say it was 7 Doom. Okay. Yeah, because, like, you get actions, right? Like, that's the thing, right? Like, you get actions to do this, and it doesn't exhaust. Like, look, okay, let's not look at the bottom for a second, right? Could you just imagine this as a turn? You just, like, fast this out. It's downtime. You, play 2 actions, place 2 Doom on it, draw 2 cards, gain 2 money, get rid of it, get 2 more money, right? So that's essentially, like, I mean, like, it pays itself back, but, like, I think this is a really good battery for getting you what you want. Especially in Rogue, because you have additional actions. Like, you play Haste. If you play Haste, you can get 4 Doom on this in 1 turn. Which means that, you know what? I think the 10 actually, if you build around it, can be achievable. And that's why I kind of... I think I kind of like... I kind of like it being 10 Doom. Because this card exists for, like, people like Bryn, you know? The Johnnies, if you will. Who like to look at something... well, this isn't a permanent. This isn't a permanent. Because because I do think, like, with actions, I don't think it's worth it. That's the thing. I don't think all the actions to put into it are worth it to get the 10 experience. But I also, like, don't think, like, the green medallion. The green man medallion is worth all the effort to get all that extra experience, right? Oh, I get you. No, yeah. No, that happens to me a lot with MTG too. Like, I think that overall the bottom text is actually probably good, because it's like it's not there to be done, because the top action is really good. You know, the top action is really good. But I think the bottom action is really nice for the design of the character, because one, I think it's doable if you wanted to go for it, and I think that's like a fun game to play. And number two, it's there for the what if. And also the card itself is just like really good, you know? Like I said, I don't think the 1 XP is worth it, but I don't think the 1 XP matters, because I think the top action is just really good, right? Like, it's just, it's really, really juicy. Alright, what's the signature weakness? Caught dark-handed, no doubt. Free chassis control with Doom on it, either discard it or move one Doom from that card to the agenda. If no card is discarded or Doom this way, shuffle this card back into deck. I hate weaknesses that shuffle back into the deck. I think weaknesses that shuffle back into the deck should just have another effect if they don't happen. That's what I gotta say, god dang it. I like the top part, don't like the bottom part. Like, just make it free chassis control with Doom on, either discard it or move one Doom from the card to the agenda. If no cards are discarded or Doom is moved this way, take 2 direct horror. Ah! So much nicer. Also, so much scarier, too. Or even if no cards are discarded, yeah, just like, I just think, like, I don't like the shuffle back in. I never like those weaknesses. I think Finn's weakness is, like, I don't know, like, Finn's a great character, but Finn has a lot of holes in his design, I think, that were kind of misses. Cool card, though. Cool character. Heidi Hightail is my winner. But Sprock Valwire is really interesting. Safina? Doesn't Safina's just shuffle back in, no matter what? What's that one? Star of Hyades? Oh, let's just search Hyades. Oh, it's stars. Okay. Randomly choose an event and remove it into the game. If you cannot take 1 damage, 1 horror. If your deck has 5 more cards, then shuffle back into your deck instead of discarding it. No, I like that one. Because that one is like part of the design of the character. It's like here to kill it. It's not like if nothing happens, shuffle it back in. This does something and then also shuffles back in, which is really nice. I don't like the ones where it's like no use case. You can tell Safina was designed with that in mind. Alright, let's look at some player cards now, shall we? We got Pain Peel Katana. By the way, my Alt key on this side, I never noticed it, is just absolutely butchered from holding Alt so much in Tabletop Simulator. I think I gotta buy a new keyboard. Alright, Pain Peel Katana. This is a 4-cost item, weapon item melee asset that takes up the hand slot. As an action, move a damage from an enemy or location to Pain Peel Katana. Oh, this katana traps the souls of its victims. Fight. You get plus X and deal plus X plus 1 damage. Where X is the amount of damage on this card. After this resolves, if there are 3 or more damage on Pain Peel Katana, remove all damage on this card. Okay, so it's forced. You have to move a damage from an enemy or location to Pain Peel Katana. You fight, you get plus X fist and deal. So the first one, so am I right that you can't fight if there's no damage to move because it's part of the cost, right? So if the enemy has no damage on it, this Pain Peel Katana actually is dead in the water, right? Fight. You get plus X fist and deal plus X plus 1 damage. Where X is the amount of damage on this card. Strange. I feel like maybe it's not the intention, but like because you have to move a damage. So it means that it's just like, I don't know, it seems like the weapon like won't work most of the time. Like say like you kill an enemy. You take his soul and put it on the blade. But then you draw a new enemy and that enemy has no damage. So it's like this card, this 4-cost weapon actually like can't be your main fighter because of that. So I'm gonna wager that maybe it's probably not the intention. I think the move of damage is there to force the Pain Peel Katana to remove the damage, right? It's forced on that. Would that work with Mark's ability? No, because I actually don't know. Let's look at Mark. Oh no, there's too many marks. After damage is placed on a card you control. Yeah. So what my gut is telling me that this card, it should have like action fight. You get plus X and deal plus X damage. So you deal 1 damage plus X additional damage, where X is the amount of damage on this card. If this attack, and then after an enemy dies, like forced, after an enemy dies, move 1 damage on it to the Pain Peel Katana. I don't know. It seems like I just feel like, I don't know, the card is just like not... The card is just like... You hit something once normally, and the more you hit stuff, the more damage it does. I don't know. I feel like, but for like four cost, like either this card needs to be as printed with like a cheaper cost, because it doesn't work. Like you have to it's your side weapon that doesn't work if you draw it first, right? I like the flavor on it a lot. I think the flavor is really cool. I just feel like the move of damage from an enemy or location to Pain Peel Katana is there only so it makes sure the damage gets sucked off of it, you know? I would like if it was just like, instead of like after this test resolves, it's just like forced after an enemy is defeated, move 1 damage from that enemy to Pain Peel Katana. So it's like sucking the souls of its enemies, like even without it kills it, you know? So then, like, it scales up really high. It's like you have, like, this, like, weapon that's just, like, has, like, mind of its own, just sucking up power, like, from, like, blood from the enemies. I love the flavor, but I just think the function, I would never play this card because it would never work the way I want it to. Alright, Probable Cause. 2 cost, talent police asset. After an enemy or another investigator performs an attack at a different location, exhaust Probable Cause, move once towards that location. That's a cool card. Okay. After an enemy or another investigator performs an attack at a different location. I love this card. I think that's like a really neat card. I think that's a cool idea. It's super simple. It's a very Guardian way for flavor, like a Guardian way to have like a Pathfinder, right? Great card. I would love to see an effect like this in the actual official game. Really cool. I think it's also fairly costed as well. I love it. Annihilation Dial. Oh, do not touch the Annihilation Dial. This is a 4 cost item blessed curse asset. Takes up the accessory slot. If there are 4 or more blessed tokens on an Annihilation Dial, you get +1 brain, +1 book, +1 fist, +1 foot. As a lightning bolt, you can exhaust it, add a curse token to the chaos bag, then seal a blessed token on this card. Interesting. Then seal a blessed token. So you need to get the blessed tokens in there. Sorry, what is my wife? But yeah, I mean, like, you have to get the blessed tokens in there, but, I mean, like, in the accessory slot, I think this is a really fun minigame. Card's really neat. I don't think the card is, like, particularly fantastic, but I think it's great for, like, a level 0 card, you know? Yeah, Mary's adding a bless. Let's just... But, I mean, like, even in Sister Mary, I like this card, you know? Because it's, like, a slower Holy Rosary. But it allows her to even play with Paradoxical Covenant. I think it's a great design. I think it's really cool. Because I think it like rewards you while also giving you like synergy within the game. However, I will say I feel like it might be slightly overcosted. I feel like if this costed 3, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair. 4 also seems fair, but like a bit too fair, if that makes sense. It's like fair over here as opposed to fair over there. But I love the card. Really cool. Bodyguard. This is a 3 cost, 4 experience, ally asset. So you'll see like no level 5 cards with these, because unlike All In, or sorry, unlike whatever that one card is, All In Forgotten Age, the custom content designers want every one of their investigators to play with the cards. Remember how I said earlier that Finn kind of had weird gaps in his design? Yeah. I think that's another one of them, ain't it? Alright, Bodyguard. So, 4 experience, you get +1 fist for each damage on Bodyguard. When any amount of damage you place on you, place 1 damage on Bodyguard. Cool card. But he has 0-5 illicit. All In ain't illicit. All In's just a rogue card that he can't play in his box. Yeah, this also seems awesome in Mark, doesn't it? Do we think 4 experience is too much, though? Maybe? I mean, I feel like I'd play this at, I think 3 is also really good. Comparing this to Gurish, because I think Gurish is better at 4. I think this guy could be 3, because I think Gurish sets a pretty good baseline for 4. I love the design on this one, though. It's very flavorful. It's very flavorful. I love it. Great in Mark. Mark would go, like, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for this card. I love it. Great design. Really cool. Fun. Alright, Penance. This is a 0 cost tactic blessed event in the Guardian class. Fast. Play during any lightning bolt window. Deal 1 damage to each investigate location. Add 2 blessed tokens to the chaos bag for each damage dealt this way. That's a sick card. No further comments. I'd play the hell out of this card. It's a combo enabler. It's fair. It's good. Great for Mateo. Dude, great for like anybody. I just wish it was a spirit so Calvin Wright could play it. But that's just me, like, blow up Brother Xavier. Oh, that seems kind of fun, doesn't it? Use this card to get 6 bless tokens in, blow up Brother Xavier, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Get some Tommy resources? Yeah, I mean, it seems like a great card. I think like this is like one of those cards that you just like look at and you're like, yeah, I would love this in many different investigators for many different reasons. Great card. Love it. All right, Rallying Cry. This is a 3 cost event. It's Spirit Tactic. One at a time, you may move each other investigator and annihilate enemy once towards you. Weird. I feel like adding 8 bless to the bag before you take your first action game is maybe not something you should be able to do. That is fair, actually. I could see this if this was a real card. But I mean, here's my new opinion. All right, here's my new opinion on the taboo list, right, and all this kind of stuff. I don't care. Just let the cards be strong, and if they're too strong, just put them on the taboo list. Just be like max like 4 bless tokens this way, you know. Like it's just like I think that. Now I think the player cards are in a pretty good place, all things considered, and it's one of those things that but I do agree, having like 8 blesses in the bag before you take your first action, like with Sister Mary and 4-player, it's 10. You get to fill the blank. You get a hollow. You get a hallow on like turn 2. That is really good. This probably, you know, like when you say it, would probably be better balanced with that, or just make it so that it's 1 bless token. I think 1 bless token, this card would also be really playable. You know? I think with 1 bless token, this card I think would be very playable. Yeah. But I mean, like, all these people are saying all these ideas in chat, which makes me feel like this card is really nice. Like, maybe do like a level 0 version that's 1. Or like 2 damage and 2, and then like a level 3 version that's like 1 damage and 2, because then it like actually like kind of matters, you know. All right, Rallying Cry, nice and simple. Doesn't really excite me, but I don't think the card is meant to be exciting. I think the card's meant to be just like some hot tech. I love it to like move an enemy to you when it's with someone. It's cool though. Just a bit expensive, but I like it. The card's really fun. All right, the level 4 version. Holy hell. One at a time, you move each other investigator, not only enemy, to your location. Wow. Just come fight me. That's cool. I like it. It might be a bit overcosted, but I think it's a fun effect. Very powerful effect too. All right, side by side. This is an innate skill. Silas says, "What up?" It commits for a fist and a brain. It gains 1 fist and 1 brain for each investigator at your location. These guys are dead, by the way. In the picture, they're dead. This thing has killed them. When he says side by side, he's talking about the other version of the alien behind it. Yeah, I think this reminds me of Not Without a Fight. That one event, that one skill that gets additional symbols for each enemy engaged with you. It reminds me of that. Like, not particularly playable, but probably good for like I think this would be good in like Carson Sinclair. So I think that means it's playable. All right, Intrepid. Oh, an upgraded Intrepid. I was gonna say this looks like Intrepid when I was going by it. 2 brain. If this skill is successful, attach Intrepid to your location. Investigators at a location with Intrepid get +1 brain, book, fist, and foot. At the end of the round, discard Intrepid. Sorry, I still don't know if this is playable. I'd probably still just rather play Guts. Oh yeah, because it is each investigator at your location, so it is also just like you are an investigator at your location. For my mind said other, because you can't be side by side for yourself, so I actually feel like probably the intent is for that to say other. Maybe I'm wrong, but side by side benefiting from just you seems like a flavor fail. Yeah, I don't think this is enough still. Poor Intrepid. Even this like Guts version. Oh, you attach it to your location? Yeah, I still probably wouldn't play it. It's a nice upgrade though. I missed the I read it location, but my brain was reading chat, so I wasn't really fully reading it. Okay, Dead Man's Deal. It's a 3 experience blessed skill. Commits for 2 wilds. Max 1 per skill test. When you reveal chaos tokens for this skill test, search the bag for a blessed token. If there is one, resolve that token as if it was just revealed from the chaos bag. Okay, so it's kind of like a worse... It's kind of like a worse Seal of the Seven Sign, Seal of the Elder Sign, that card, that like the skill card that turns it into a bless. Sorry, turns into the Elder Sign. So you basically get +4. It's like a weird promise of power where it could turn bad if you're playing Favor of the Sun. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably fairly costed. Doesn't really excite me, but I don't think an effect like this really needs to, you know? Yeah, and if you have like Ancient Covenant, also goes up in value. But that's still 5 experience. I don't know. I think it's fair. That's cool. Oh, the Midjourney art. Okay, Seeker. 2 cost, talent asset, Watch the Void. At the start of your turn, if there are no clues at your location, draw a card. Whew, that's really good. That's a really good card. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think, like, I'd play it. I'd play it in some decks, but the problem is, I think, like, Seeker card draw is actually, like, pretty stretched out. Like, I think there's a lot of good Seeker card draw out there. But what cards like this do is allows you to kind of pick your poison for what you want for your Seeker card draw. You need to draw how many to be useful? I mean, if it drew me like, honestly, for me, if it drew me 2 cards, I'd call that useful. If it drew so like 2 cards is where I'm like satisfied with it. When it hits 3, you know, it gets you going. But what this card allows you to do as well is you can just like, it gives you drip card draw for just like playing the game, which I think effects like that are, you know, are not really like, you know, you're not really like you do like an initial investment on this card, and it's gonna give you, like, I see like in chat, I'd rather just play Preposterous Sketches. I could see that, but also at the same time, I think this card is gonna get you more than Preposterous Sketches is gonna get you in the long term. Also, like, off classes as well. I think the card's good because it turns your game plan into like being as hyper efficient as possible in removing all clues from a location. So like your goal is when you move into location, you remove all clues from that location. And now you don't need to spend time. You don't need to spend time grabbing, like, you don't need to spend time like doing anything else but grabbing clues, so you can be more efficient, right? And then you just get an extra card as like a reward for it. Yeah, I don't think it's like, it's like pick your poison for secret card draw, but I think that there are reasons for taking anything. Yeah, and also, yeah, you move into a location with no clues. Like, also, it's like one of those things, like, you, like, say, for example, you have to, like, move, you get all the clues, and it's like, go back to the starting location. Now, every time, like, if you could only move 2, and, like, you just get a card for that as well. It's interesting. I think it's fairly costed, though. I don't think the card's, like, particularly, like, bonkers, but I think there's an argument for why you'd want to take it, which I think is really neat. Programmer's Vest. This is a 2-cost item clothing asset that takes up the body slot. As a reaction, when you would check your hand size during upkeep, test brain X, where X is half the amount of cards in your hand rounded down. If successful, you don't have to discard this upkeep phase. That's fun. I like that there's a test associated with it. I like that you can, like, make a really big test and kind of do it. Yeah, I think the card's neat. Hey, Gather Timber, thank you so much for the follow on the goddamn table. Yeah, it's a cool card. I think it's fun. Don't really have much to say. I think hand size already has enough tools, but, like, more tools probably ain't a bad thing, right? Paradimensional Bond. Oh, this guy has an alien behind him. So this is a 2-cost ally cosmic asset that takes up the ally slot, of course. You get +1 book. When you would discover 2 or more clues in a single investigation, heal 1 damage from Paradimensional Bond. Interesting. Huh. I just poked myself in the eye with my pen. I think I really dig this. It's nice, because I actually, like, think... so what happens, I look at this guy, and you know what actually it makes me think? Hey, I can see a use case where I would run this over Dr. Milan Christopher. Which I think is great. There's an upgraded version, too. 3 experience, still 2 cost, but you also get +1 brain when you discover 2 more clues from a single investigation, heal 1 damage from Paradimensional Bond. Also soaks for 3 now. Also, like, yeah, Vincent, and yeah, put that over Jessica Hyde. I mean, Jessica Hyde's also really good in Vincent. Depends on what Vincent you want to be. But I think that's what I like about this guy, is that where, once again, it's kind of like this one, where you're finding use cases for it. I think it's neat. I like it. I'd play it in, like, you know, it could be fun in Harvey Walters, too. I like it. Okay. Refracting lens. Look at this guy. Look into his headlight. Look into his headlight. 2 cost, 2 experience, item tool, science, asset. Takes up the hand slot. Kate Winthrop intensified. When one of your card effects reduces location shroud, reduce it by 1 more. Okay, Kate's probably not intensifying. I mean, it's a neat effect. But it's a very competitive hand slot. It's certainly neat. Certainly helps also, like, I mean, obviously, I think this, like, obviously with Trix Bellix is really nice. Would I play this in Daryl? Probably. Maybe? Now my ability is a -3, but it's not reducing the shroud, is it? Because it's only reducing the test. So you don't get on his ability. Flashlight, I mean, obviously, but I think, like... I think Daryl's already efficient enough. In other people who can reduce shroud and, like, trying to do the Shadowlight plan? Yeah, potentially. But the hand slot's very competitive, which I think is probably good for the card, so it doesn't... Like, if this was slotless, I'd probably play it more than I should. 1 XP would be good. I could see it. Or, like, 2 XP, but it's fast, because you can, like, whoo! You know? I don't know. Because I would love to... I mean, I'm playing my Otherworldly Compass right now in that Trish deck. Would I hold this in my other hand? Probably not, but, you know, we could pretend. Safekeeping. This is a 2-cost tactic event. Commits for 2 book. Give one of your clues to another investigator location. Both you and that investigator may heal a damage in a horror. Neat card. I like it. I think it's neat. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. Those are actually pretty alright AI hands, all things considered. For a card that's just, like, focused on the AI hands, certainly ain't the worst I've seen. I think it's fine. I like that it commits for, like, 2 book as well. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Grizzly, whatever that new healing spell is in Scarlet Keys. Grizzly Discovery or whatever it is. Grizzly... Bizarre Diagnosis? Whatever it is. Grizzly, yeah. It works really well. It's great healing. It's like Vincent would like it. I think it's great. Yeah, it's a good card. Very nice. It's also super clean. Super clean, super simple. Picked clean. 2 cost. Insight event. Wild. Fast. Play during any lightning bolt player window. May only be played if your location shroud is 0. Investigate your location. Draw total X cards. Distribute as you wish, where X is your location's printed shroud value. Aha! So it's like Crack the Case, but Shadowlight Crack the Case. So you reduce the shroud to 0, and it also rewards you for reducing the highest shroud values as low as you can. I love it in, like, Daryl, you know? Like, he already has a lot of card draw, but this is like... It's like card draw that focuses on the deck that you're playing, which is a lot more exciting to me than just generically good card draw. It also can go really high. Like, this could just be like a draw 4, you know? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't think the card is particularly great, but I think the design is really nice. Anatomical Diagrams, an upgraded version. 1 cost, 3 experience, insight event. Fast. Play during any investigator's turn. Play only if you have 3 or more remaining sanity. Choose a non-elite enemy location till the end of the round. The enemy gets -3 fight, -3 evade. Yeah. What's the other one? They get -2, only if you have 5 or more. Yeah, it seems like a pretty clean, pretty clean. I like it, because it also doesn't do anything on its own. 3 experience is a lot, but I think it's pretty fair for what it does. Makes it more likely for it to trigger. Yeah, I think it's fine. Comprehensive Survey. This is a level 0 skill, practiced and expert. Okay, practice makes perfect. Let's intensify that. If there are no enemies of your location, it gains Wild Wild. If there are no clues of your location, it gains Wild Wild. Interesting. So this could be 5 wild for a test for some reason. Yeah, I think it's fine. Honestly, I think skills that are just like wilds are like not necessarily exciting, but they get the job done. And this is gonna like most likely hit for 1 of the 3 that you're gonna need it for when you need it. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. A Dead Man's Deal yeah, there's a Dead Man's Deal in 3 of the classes. That's interesting. Okay, so this one was all right. Oh, okay, because it's a curse. All right, so it's a cursed one, and is this one Paradox then? Blessed Cursed. Okay, color me intrigued. Color me intrigued. It's like there's like a plot twist waiting for me at the end of these cards. Dead Man's Deal. It's a cursed one. 2 wilds. Max 1 committed per skill test. When you reveal chaos tokens at this test, search the bag for a cursed token. If there is one, resolve that token as if it was just revealed from the bag. Yeah, honestly, this one kind of interests me more than the Blessed one, funnily enough. Because, like, with, like, Blasphemous Covenant, or even, like, False Covenant, this card now basically just becomes, like, hey, like, you can turn a +1, or, like, one of those. I don't know, I think it's neat. An upgraded Stunning Blow. Okay. Alright, there's 5 cards here. What the hell are you? Excuse me. Excuse me. Alright, Scrapbot. This is a 1-cost ally machine asset, limit 1 per deck in the Survivor class. After it enters play, search your bonded cards for each modification asset and add them to your discard pile. When Scrap Pile leaves play, find each of those cards and remove them from the game. Alright, so this synergizes with the guy. These are all items. So that's the first one. It synergizes with Pops, which is really cool. Also, obviously, synergizes with Survivor in general. Like Will York. These are items. They're assets. Alright. Eagle Eye Mod. When played, attached to Scrapbot. Exhaust, Scrapbot, Investigate. You investigate with a base skill of 4. If successful, you move a clue from a connecting location to this location. Powerful. Flame Cannon Mod. When attached to Scrapbot. Exhausted. You fight with a base skill of 4. If this deck is successful, in addition to standard damage, deal 1 damage to each other enemy at this location. Cool. Flamethrower. Power Coil Mod. When played, attached to Scrapbot. Exhaust Scrapbot, choose Investigator location, and test brain 4. If you're successful, you may heal 1 damage from that Investigator. And then Roadrunner Mod. When you play attached to Scrapbot, exhaust Scrapbot, evade. You evade with a base skill of 4. You may immediately, if you're successful, you may immediately move once. I mean, I don't know if it's particularly, like, great, but I think it's fun, and it's cool, and it's flavorful. And I like the idea of turning this robot into a killing machine. Yeah, I think it's neat. Yeah, build a little robot friend. Fun card. Alright, speaking of little robot friends, here's a Haunted Doll. This is a 3-cost item curse asset that takes up the accessory slot. So we know already this is completely competing with Token of Faith. I wish Scrapbot itself was an item. That actually could be fun, but he's a human, as not astute Dunsparce. Humans can't be items. When Julie and I got married, we had to sign a contract saying that this is an equal marriage and neither one of us are going to be owned. So we're not items. We're people. And Scrapbot, it people. Alright, Haunted Doll. As a reaction, when you reveal a curse token during a skill test, exhaust Haunted Doll, cancel and seal that token on this card, then draw another token. If there are 3 or more tokens sealed on Haunting Doll, discard it. So it basically is just like kicking the can down the road. I don't know if that's good enough. I like it, though. I like the flavor behind it. But because, like, if I just compare this to Token of Faith, I'd still just always play Token of Faith. Like, maybe if it, like, does something, cancel and seal that token on this card, and then, like, I don't know, like, gain a resource. It, like, the doll pays itself back over time, because you're not actually removing. The seal tokens just go back in. I mean, I like the flavor, but I just feel like it's lacking a bit of power. But I also think cards that, like this are ultimately fine to be in sets. You know, it's like in an official set. You just think one of these gives them an option to play with it. Yeah, I just feel like it's a little bit of something. Because, I mean, like, it directly competes with Token of Faith, right? Like, pretty, like, same slot, same idea with interacting with curse tokens. Yeah. I also like the idea, because it says, like, with the flavor text, I thought we burned that thing instead of discarding it, get shoveled back in. That could be fun. Alright, Piercing Blade. We love Survivor weapons. 1-cost asset takes up the hand slot. Fight. It's an action. You get +1 fist with attack. If attack is successful against a non-elite enemy, attach Piercing Blade to that enemy. Whenever an enemy with this card attaches damage, they receive 1 additional damage. But then you lose it. But the idea is that this synergizes with Pops, right? I actually kind of dig this in Yorick, right? Put Grievous Wound with this as well. Put a Stunning Blow on the enemy. You know? Knock him down. put a grievous wound on him, get the hell out of there. The dude will bleed out even quicker. Scavenge this back or play it with with pops. Yeah, I think the design's really cool. All right, 2 experience. You get +1 fist if the attack is successful. Against an enemy attached piercing blade to the enemy. Whenever an enemy attached receives 1 additional damage. Whenever an enemy with a piercing blade attached is defeated, this card's owner may return it to their hand. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very fair upgrade. I think for 2 experience, I'd probably also want +2 fist instead. But I think the card's fun. I like the idea behind it, but I think this card could probably be worth +2 fist instead. Fuzzy Galactic, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the goddamn table. It's a pleasure to have you. Man, we've got a lot of follows today. What the hell? I like it though. I like them. They're cool. I also like it's not just like a boring +1/+1 weapon. It's a very flavorful weapon and it's really cool. And I like the story it paints in my head when I stab an enemy really hard and then they're like, the knife is infecting me. You know, it's really cool. All right, Dreamcatcher. This is a 3 cost. 3 cost, 2 experience, item charm asset that's unique takes up the accessory slot. It's exceptional. So it costs 4 experience. Okay. Color me intrigued. As a reaction. After you fail a skill test during your turn, but before resolving all effects from the failed test, exhaust Dreamcatcher. Attempt that test again and reduce the difficulty on this test by 1. Wow! That's pretty damn powerful, isn't it? I liked this card a lot. I like it so much I'm going into like further Survivor Color Pie theory crafting. The Seeker was 03 Survivor, right? Yeah, but I feel like this card is so Survivor that I feel like for like if like so it's like when I look at custom content, I like to imagine if this was like in the actual game. And like I feel like if this came out in the real game, I would want it to cost 4 experience and be limit 1 per deck. Because this card is very Survivor. It's so Survivor, I don't think that other classes should be even be able to look at it, even within this deck building. Like, I understand it works better for Trix, but I love the design on this card so much that I'm going like deeper into like the design mythos of the game, you know? I think the card's really cool. Yeah, I really like it. It's really good. It's a really interesting card. I just, my only thoughts is that I wish it was Survivor only. Cool card. I really like it. Everything must go. Oh, this says Bobbert all over it. 0 cost tactic event. Commits for a wild. Discard any amount of non-weakness, non-story item assets in your play area. You may play an item asset for each card discarded this way at -1 cost. So notably, this guy actually can't use it. But I like it. I think that it's really fun. I think Bob would like it. I think Yorick would like it. Discard a chainsaw. Just play play a knife. Stab the knife into someone. Kill him. Grab the chainsaw. I like it. How's that feel? You know what, lady? Not great. 1 cost trick event. Fast. Play when a non-elite enemy would attack you. Test foot X where X the enemy's fight value. If successful, cancel the attack and deal the enemy's damage back to itself. If you fail, resolve that enemy's attack. This card, to me, just feels like, what's that one card? Like a cheaper version of the Quick Getaway. The new card from Scarlet Keys. Well, it's not new at this point, but it still feels new to me, goddammit. Neat. Yeah, cool. Read a card. It doesn't evade the enemy. But I mean, like, I guess like more tools, like more pieces for that toolbox is kind of good. 0 cost, 1 experience. The level 1 version. Fast. Play when a non-elite enemy would attack you. Fist and foot plus. Okay. Yeah, I think that's neat. I think they're cool cards. I think they're totally serviceable. Another Man's Treasure. This is a level 0 skill. It's innate. Commits for a wild. Another man treasure gains wild for each item asked in your discard pile. Yep, nice and simple. Once again, skills that just give you wild icons and like scale up certainly aren't exciting, but unfortunately are quite necessary to the game, I think. Stunning Blow. This is a 3 experience. Practice skill commits for 2 fist. Lizard is no longer getting whacked, but instead getting stabbed with what looks like a pen sword. If this skill test is successful during an attack, automatically evade the attacked enemy and deal it +1 damage. Yeah, just more good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could cost 2. Because, like, this is basically following the trajectory of Vicious Blow. It's a good card, though. I mean, more of a Stunning Blow. I'd take it. Speaking of stun, here's Stun Baton. 4 cost item tool in the Rogue class. Takes up the hand slot. 3 charges. When a non-elite enemy would move into your location, exhaust, Stun Baton, cancel that move. Wow, that's good. Obviously works well with Heidi Hightail. I think it's quite expensive, so I don't think a lot of people would play it, but I would like to try it out because I do think it would provide a lot of good potential in practice. I think it's a cool card. All right, Hyperfuel cartridges. This is a 5 cost item illicit asset. It's slotless. Slotless, not slot list. 4 charges. As Lightning Bolt, exhaust Hyperfuel cartridges and spend a charge, move once. Okay. Exhaust Hyperfuel cartridges and spend X charges, move X times, then take X damage. Skids. Buy the Bodyguard, kill him with the Hyperfuel cartridges, become super strong. Move tech for Kachi. Yeah, that's also pretty poggy. I like it. I think the card's neat. Card's very expensive, but how much do we pay for a movement? A free movement. Actionless is 0. So action. Well, actionless is 0. But then it goes away. 5. You put an action into it. You put an action into it, and you get 4 actions out of it. So then it costs you... You get 3 actions out of it, essentially. But you're going to move when you want. You can move multiple times. I don't know. It's tough. 5 seems like 5. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, but then maybe in practice, no. But at the same time, it is slotless. I don't know. I'd have to see it out. I'd have to try it out to see if I think I would play this at 5. Hey, Steph, how's it going? Wow, weird seeing you on a Friday. Not a bad weird, just a weird weird. Don't take this the wrong way. All right, Hyperfuel cartridge is the level 2 version. Still 5 cost, 5 charges. Exhaust it and spend a charge, move once. Exhaust and spend X charges, move X times, then test foot X, where X is the amount you moved. If you fail, take X damage. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fine upgrade. More juice. It's a cool card. Feels weird, but I wanted to go for it. You know, every month we should try something new. Something that scares us. And if something that scared you was joining a playing board game stream on a Friday, I'm glad you did it. Don't know why you were scared, but, you know, I don't blame you. I'm a scary guy. All right, the Imposter. This is a 5 cost. I've seen this one in my Discord. This one's all coming back to me now. 5 cost, 3 experience. Takes up the ally slot. When played, search your deck for up to 3 different ally assets. Place one of them on top of the Imposter and the rest underneath this card. Shuffle your deck. When an ally asset on top of the Imposter is defeated, replace with another ally card under this card. If there are no cards on top of or underneath the Imposter, discard this card. I think it's a really cool design on this card. I think that's really neat. Because I remember I was part of the discourse, because the designer was like asking like what just like showcasing some cards, and I was like, this one stuck with me, and like it's one of those things where worst case scenario, you grab like where it was originally, you like grabbed a Leo DeLuca and you put it on top. I mean, I still think that like grabbing allies out of your deck and then just having like a stream where you can just kill them and go is really nice. I can see the situation where it can be a little bit unfortunate if you draw the wrong ally in the wrong order, but I like it. I mean, I also kind of like it in Charlie Kane too, because you're just running a million allies. You just are playing the imposter, and then you just put the imposter into play, and you just like grab allies, and you're like, okay, Charlie, we're gonna go nuts. I love the card. I think the design's really neat. Unwelcome Provocation. Dude, this robot dinosaur is messing up these people's time. Zero cost event. It's a trick. Choose an enemy at your location or a connecting location that is engaged with another investigator. That enemy attacks that investigator, then gain 4 resources. Non-unique feels right. I mean, I don't see why the imposter can't put on a Leo DeLuca face. So I mean, I think elite flavorfully, sorry, unique. Flavorfully works for me as well. I love the hell out of this card. This card's really fun. This is very green, isn't it? Choose an enemy at a location or connect location that is engaged with another investigator. That enemy attacks that investigator, then gain 4 resources. You bring this if your teammate is playing Daniela, and then you just gain money and kill that enemy. I love the hell out of this card. I think this is really fun. The art's incredible. That was a great mid-journey prompt. Oh yeah, RudeRugg. You can see the designers on the bottom of that. How convenient is that? I think it's great. I love the hell out of this card. This is probably actually, personally, my favorite I've seen so far. I love it. Should be fast for extra griefing. Pay to play. Zero cost event. It's a trick. Fast. Play when the draw and counter card step of the Mythos phase would begin. Instead of resolving that step, spend 1 to 4 resources, then look at that many encounter cards. Choose 1 to resolve and shuffle the rest in the encounter deck. Dude, that's pretty reasonable, isn't it? I think this is a really nice design for rogue encounter deck control. Right? I like this card a lot. I think this is really good. Yeah, green first watch. Hell yeah. Wait a minute. I have to look at this a bit deeper. Does this card not work? I thought it just replaced your draw. But it replaces the entire draw and counter step. Because this only draws 1 card, right? Which means it turns every... No matter what, people are only... I thought this was only you. I think this card should only affect you. Is what I'm saying. That's what I thought it was, but this card actually is broken. It's got to probably only accept you, right? I don't know. I just feel like, because why would you ever... I would pay 1 and just draw 1 encounter card, and it would be our Mystic who's going first. Yeah, so I feel like this card actually is not working as intended when I strip it back a bit. Maybe it is. Maybe this is supposed to be, but like... I like it as like when you would draw an encounter card, spend 1 to 4 resources, look at that many cards, choose 1 to resolve and shuffle the rest into your deck. Shuffle the rest into the encounter deck. But right now, as it is, you pay 1 resource, you draw 1 card, and then everyone just keeps playing. That's very powerful for level 0. So I feel like that can't be the intention here. All right. Left a mark. This is a 2-cost tactic trick event. Fast. Play after you successfully evade a non-elite enemy by 3 or more. Attach left a mark to the evaded enemy. After the attached enemy moves, deal it 1 damage. I love it. You know what's crazy? How much better this is than Grievous Wound. And even though like it's not like that different, it's like everything that Grievous Wound wanted to be, you know? Right? Because like with Grievous Wound, the enemy's not evaded. With Left a Mark, the enemy's evaded, and you just walk away and it slowly like bleeds out. I love it. Left a Mark, 2 costs, 1 experience. Play after you successfully evade a non-elite enemy by 2 or more. Attach to the evaded enemy. After it moves, deals 1 damage. So the difference is 3 or more and 2 or more and an extra foot. Yeah. I feel like it could cost 1. But it also seems pretty fair. I just don't think it's that much of an upgrade, but it is only one experience. I think it's still great design. Cool card. Hit and Run. This is a 1-cost, 3-experience event. It's a tactic and a trick. Fast. Play only during your turn. Put any amount of ally assets from your hand into... Oh, it's the upgraded version of this. I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Put any amount of ally assets from your hand into play at the end of the round. Your turn, if any of those assets are still play, return them to your hand. Really fun. But I think this card's got to go... This card should go a little bit deeper. This card should be naughty and say, for the remainder of your turn, you have 10 ally slots. Alright, a call for help. Oh god. No thank you. I'm hungry. Okay. This is an innate skill, commits for a brain. Commit only to a skill test you're performing. Investigators at convenient locations may contribute a card to this test. Help. I think it's going to commit a card to this test. I dig it. I mean, I think that's pretty neat. The AI art prompt on this, like, took it to the frickin' moon. For sure. Like, that's an incredible piece of AI art, which is crazy. I mean, I know AI art is just, like, scrapping all the other art on the internet, but it's crazy. And you have to commit it to brain tests, yeah. I mean, I think this is actually a pretty playable rogue card at level 0. I would turn it into Savant most other cases when I upgrade it, but I think at level 0, I'm very happy to have this in my deck. Great. I think it's great. Okay. We are here. The last one, Mystics. It's so weird ending with Mystics instead of Survivor, but you know what, RudeRugg? I'm for it. I like you changing the pace of things. Data Doping. This is a 2-cost spell Cursed that takes up, that's an asset that takes up the Arcane slot. As Lightning Bolt exhausts Data Doping, seal a Curse token from the Chaos bag on this card. Then heal 1 horror. So exhaust it, seal a curse token, and then heal a horror. At the end of your turn, if there are any curse tokens sealed on data doping, test brain X, where X the amount of curse tokens sealed on this card. If you fail, release all tokens sealed on data doping and discard it. Yeah. I kind of dig it. I think it's like pretty simple. I like it though. Takes up a spell slot, which is always tough. But I mean, like, it's kind of also here for Dawn Dark Data. But I dig it. I like it. Yeah. Okay. Unstable Puzzle Box. This is a 3-cost item omen asset that takes up the hand slot. If there's an even amount of doom on Unstable Puzzle Box, it does not count towards the agenda. You know, that does sound like a puzzle, doesn't it? As an action, exhaust Unstable Puzzle Box and place 1 doom on it. Investigate. Investigate using brain instead of book. You get +1 brain for this test. If successful, and there are 2 or more doom on this card, you may discover 1 additional clue. Okay. This is interesting, isn't it? So the first time, it's going to be Bad News Bears. Second time, it's Good News Bears, and you may discover an additional clue. If there's time to go for a third one, that's juicy. Amina would like this card, because she can just like put it out and do there, and do the thing, get 2 immediately. Additional clue. I like it. I think the design's really neat. It's very intriguing. What the hell? I mean, this card really interests me. I think it's kind of fun. Let's see the upgraded version, because this is like the spell for it. It's got it. Oh yeah, and there's the damage one, huh? Yeah. Okay. So level 3. If there's an even amount, does not count towards it. Exhaust it. Place a doom. Instead, you use your +2 brain. If successful, you may discover an additional clue. I mean, like, thank you for letting Marie Lambeau play this card, because Marie would also love it. And this one's just that if it's successful, you discover an additional clue, not if there's 2 or more. This is a spicy card. I think this is pretty powerful, too. I like it. I think this is really cool. No further comments, Your Honor. Coils of Oblivion. 4 cost, asset takes up the hand slot. Item, weapon, omen. Exhaust and place 1 doom on it. Fight. This attack uses brain instead of fist. You get +1 brain and deal +1 damage for this attack. Okay. I think that's actually like pretty fair. I was going to say like shriveling doesn't give you the bonuses, but shriveling you can use multiple times in a turn. As a lightning bolt, if there are 2 or more doom on Coils of Oblivion, exhaust or remove all doom from it. Whoa. Okay, okay. Now we're talking. This is like, I think it's definitely better than the sickle. I like it. You can play it. I mean, honestly, I'd play it on like potentially sickle on the other hand. I like that you can remove all doom from it. But you have to like do it during downturns. I think this is a very clever way of exploring the doom fight. All right, level 4 version. So eat ass, Marie Lambeau. Action, exhaust Coils of Oblivion and place 1 doom on it. Fight. Uses brain instead of fist. You get +2 and deal +1 damage. Exhaust it and remove all doom from it. Okay, so the downside means you can kill an enemy and next turn just clear it off if you don't draw one. It's a nice upgrade. I wish Marie could play it because it makes her a lot more compelling. I like the idea of doing the flex, but I think the design is still really nice. Yeah, cool cards. Really cool cards. All right, prepare the offering. Choose an 1 cost ritual omen event. Commits for a wild. Choose an item or ally in your play area. You may move any amount of doom on cards in your play area to that card. We have found it, chat. We have found it. The combo. It has been built into the game. Yeah. I mean, that obviously like lives with the costly thing, right? Helps with that. But I mean, I think it also works like really well with Sprock Vilewire. Generally outside of that as well, I think this card is really good. Just generally, right? Like, allies are easy to kill. Items are easy to get rid of, right? But what it does is it means that this is a way for you. It's kind of like a moonlit ritual with a few extra steps, which I think is kind of cool. I also love that you can like get a good spin out of David with it and then like kill David. I mean, get your emergency cash if you're playing Taboo List. Yeah, I think this card's really cool and really clever. And I like it a lot. I think the designs are really nice. Infernal Contract. Ha ha! Ha ha! Alright, 1 cost event. It's a ritual omen. Place up to 3 doom on different item assets in your play area. Heal 1 damage and 1 horror from an investigate location for each doom placed this way. Yeah. Cool card. I probably would never play it, but I can see why you would play it. You know? Yeah, it's a cool card. I think it works well for like the Doom archetype. Doesn't really, I mean, I do like it that you can like use it on the puzzle blocks within this box, but like outside of it, I don't see like too much hype for it. I think healing's just generally better, but like I think like where this card really shines is as utility for the Doom archetype, which is good because once again, like when we go back to like picking your poison with Secret Draw, I think that like expanding archetypes is really nice, especially for like classes who might just get an archetype and then be left in the mud. All right, Destiny Darkens. This is a level 0 skill. It's practiced and an omen and commits for a wild. When you commit Destiny Darkens to a skill test, choose an item mass in your play area. Destiny Darken gains a wild for each doom on that card. If the skill test is successful, you may remove a doom from that asset. If the skill test fails, add a doom. That's a very interesting card. I really like it a lot. Can we talk about this lady's hand that doesn't have a thumb? She has no thumb on either hand. Damn, Midjourney fucked this lady up. I'll tell you that much right now. So each class has, except for Rogue once again, they have the skill where they're kind of like just adding wilds. But this one is really interesting because it has a use case for it as well. I also do like it being practiced. I like it. I think these cards actually did a really good job of expanding the Scarlet Keys Doom archetype as well. Nice job. I think it's really cool. Prophesy. Hey, level 1 Prophesy. Well, there are 3 or more Doom in play. It gains Wild. Well, there are 6 or more. It gains Wild. The end is here. Okay, I honestly don't know the difference. I am the worst at this. Three or more gains Wild. Oh, it's just more Wild. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's pretty fine. I think like cards like this are nice because it's down the rabbit hole, right? It's a cool card. Yeah, simple. Dead Man's Deal. All right, the last Dead Man's Deal. This is a 2 experience, 2 wild, blessed, cursed. Max 1 committed per skill test. When you reveal chaos tokens for the skill test, search the bag for a blessed token. If there is one, resolve that token if it was just revealed from the chaos bag. Then when you would reveal the next token, search the bag for a cursed token. If there is one, resolve that token as if it was just revealed from the chaos bag. So with the Paradoxical Covenant, this is essentially just like pass a skill test on a skill. I mean, I think realistically, let's pull up Seal the Elder Sign. Because it's kind of similar to this one. I think realistically today, this card could probably cost like 3. 3 or I think 5's too much. I could see, I would want it at 3, but I also would be like 4's a good place to start, you know, to just see. But passing 1 test isn't that crazy. However, I think 2 is a pretty reasonable rate for this card in which you have to work for it a little bit harder. In the archetype, you don't need to work that hard realistically. You actually can just like, you know, do it because your deck's built around it. But I think it's a good reward for that. And as I said, I think if this is 3, because you also don't get a bonus with Paradoxical Covenant, you just like pass the test. I'm pretty sure anyway. Yeah, it just automatically succeeds. And really, this is like 4 experience to do this, right? Which is, yeah. I mean, I think like you might look at this and be like, but Seal of the Elder Sign costs 5. I don't think Seal of the Elder Sign in this day and age was worth 5, unless you know you're Jim Culver and you need a skull really bad. But I think I like it. I think this is my favorite. I like this one. It's like this one's fine. This one was good, and I really liked Art Dead Man's Deal in Mystic. Okay. That is the Lovecrafter 3077 Investigator expansion by RudeRugg, who so kindly signed the card on the bottom. I think that's really, really nice. Set in Sparkham. We love Sparkham. A lot of winners in this one. Let's do the thing I do where I choose my favorite card from each. I think mine is going to be probable. I think Bodyguard would be my number 1. I think he's just a bit too XP cost for me. But I think Probable Cause is my number 1 here, and then Bodyguard is my number 2. Love both of them. I think they're both nice designs. In the Seeker class, I think I'm going to give it to Watch the Void, with Paradimensional Bond being my number 2. Fun cards. Safekeeping's also really good. Pick Clean's neat. There's a lot of cool stuff here, but I think Watch the Void is the card that makes me go, huh, the most. And this one, it's definitely Dreamcatcher. Love the hell out of this card. Yeah, I think it's great. It's like pure Survivor class. Once again, so much so, I'll stand on my soapbox and say I wish it was like only Survivor. But I think it's a great card. Over here in Rogue, it's definitely Unwelcome Provocation. I think Culver helps really good. I like Leftamark. The Imposter is really cool. I like the Stun Baton. There's a lot of nice rogues here. Pay to play. I mean, but maybe I'm just a rogue player now. Maybe. I like Pay to Play if it worked as I read it to in my head before I sat a bit further with it. Because otherwise the card's just bonkers good. And I'd like it because, you know, I'd pay 1 resource to do that. But lots of fun there. And in Mystic, I think the Mystic cards are really cool here. I'm normally like not super hyped on Mystic cards because of all the shit I had to go through with them over the last year and a half. But if I did have to call one out, I think it's like these ones. I think they're really cool. I think this is really nice. I like that. Yeah, just like really cool cards here. This one's fun. It's amusing. I like the healing for it. But this one's neat. I don't know. I think they're all really cool. This one's good. Great Mystic cards in this one. I think RudeRugg did really good with that. otherwise, that's it for the video. I have a link in the description to the Steam Workshop file for this. You should check it out if you're interested. I do know it's still a work in progress. These aren't finalized. But when I was starting up stream today and I saw it pop up on my workshop, I was like, yeah, I think it's time. I wanted to talk about some player cards. I think they're great. These are really cool stuff. I like the Investigators, Heidi Hightail. I'm very curious to try Pops out. I think he's really neat. And also like Sprock Valwire, apart from having one of the coolest names I've ever seen in my entire life, is also a really intriguing card. I like it. Really awesome designs. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and thank you, RudeRugg, for making them. Bye forever, Steph. Have a good one, everybody, and as always, GG's. Oh, sorry, before I actually fully sign out, if you have made custom player content, player cards, let me know in the comments. I do watch my Discord and Reddit for new stuff that comes out, but I love talking about custom player card expansions. So please, if you have one, hit me up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, GG's.